Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes. There will be a lot of very sad faces around the table today at Labour Party HQ. Polling has shown how much the public dislike Keir Starmer and the Labour Party. They've fallen even further in the polls and are now 3 points behind the Conservatives. And Reform are only 6 points behind Labour. They're catching up fast. At this rate, it'll be Tories first, Reform second, Labour third. Who'd ever have thought it? But then they've done it to themselves. Policy after policy after policy, all of which antagonising the people, harming the people, making them poorer, making them angry. And for some, it's all been too much. There's been reports of some people actually ending their own lives. And this is probably going to continue while this party of evil, stupid Marxists maintains its vice-like grip on the power. And unless the people within the Labour Party themselves can oust their leader and put in someone who's not actually a Marxist, then it's only going to get worse for them all. They must surely they must see that they're not going to get re-elected. This is a one-term parliament, and hopefully the last parliament for the Labour Party. But the party is now sitting, according to this poll, at 25%, and that's down 2 points since November the 11th, and that was a point lower then than the time of election. So, I mean, it's another drop, and they are just unbelievable, the number of falls. It's just every time there's a poll, they're going down further and further every time. But to be in a position where Reform are now challenging the Labour Party is truly woeful. Now, we know that even the party's own supporters are turning against it. That much is evident. It's a party that can't go on much longer. And if you're not, if you're alienating your own voters, then what hope do you have? It's just one of those catch-22s, isn't it? If we stop doing what we're doing, we'll look weak. If we carry on, we look stupid. What do you do? Who knows? Now, the Lib Dems are doing okay. They're rising in the polls, again at the cost of Labour and Greens, funnily enough. They're up to 13, a little rise up to 13%. But then they've been very vocal against Rachel Reeves and all her taxes as well. So it's not surprising they're garnering some sort of pickup from that. I think this is the thing, all the parties are against Rachel Reeves, and I mean all of them, even Labour, So all the opposition parties think that she's terrible, and there's enough in the Labour Party that think she's terrible as well, which is why, of course, it's all just fail after fail after fail. Now, they're not obviously topping the poll, but they're actually getting to a point where there's going to be an inflection point beyond which they probably cannot ever recover. And I think they're very close to it. And I think if over the next couple of weeks, if they continue to fall as they are and Reform continues to grow, within the next couple of weeks, Reform will overtake Labour. And at that point, it's doom. There's no coming back. And I can't see how Keir Starmer is still in the job. Now, democracy is not in a healthy place when only 20% of the electorate can result in a sort of 200-seat majority for Labour. It's clear that our first past the post system is broken. It needs to be changed. It's fine when you've got a 2.5-party state, but we're now up to a 5-party state. So it's quite clear that first past the post is no longer sustainable. You need to change it to some form of proportional representation. And if you did, then you wouldn't have the extremes that you're seeing with this government. They would just not be allowed to get away with it. Now, this poll has found another startling little bit of information, which you probably won't read in the mainstream press. But Survation found that 1 in 5 Welsh voters now support Nigel Farage. Now, Wales is traditionally strongly Labour. It's all those miners and miners' families and ex-miners now. And Wales was a Labour heartland. And they've gone from the peak there was a time when it was something like 55% Labour in Wales. It's down to 33%. Now, it's still strong, obviously, but that's a hell of a drop. And with 20% now supporting reform, it's only a matter of time, surely. So what are Labour to do? Well, I don't think Starmer can fix it. I think it's the backbenchers can fix it. They've got to oust Starmer. That's it. That's all they've got. It's going to mean it's meaningless because you're 4.5 years away from an election. But if it was an election tomorrow, Labour would not have a majority. It would be a Conservative would probably be the biggest party, not big enough to form a government alone. But with reform, they would have enough to form a majority parliament. That too must terrify, horrify, scare the Labour backbenchers. And up and down the country, all the Labour activists and councils. Labour councillors, they are just looking into the pit of doom, aren't they? They're 18 months away from being booted out, and they know they're going to go in droves. We aren't talking losing a few councillors. You could be looking at losing many, many thousands. And of course, that's a hit to the wallets, isn't it? That's a hit to the coffers for the Labour Party, as well as actually having no power. Now, if there is that big defeat and you're losing, let's say, 5,000 councillors, which is entirely likely, then Starmer would have to go. Anyone decent would offer their resignation. Starmer won't. He'll cling on to power. He'll cling on there. I want to stay in power as long as I can and spread my communist evil. But I think it would be the night of the long knives for him. Don't turn your back on your partner, on your party, mate. They're coming for you. There you go. Not long, though. 18 months, and we can get rid of him. I don't think anyone's going to challenge him before then, because nobody's going to want to come in and lose 5,000 seats. Let me know what you think. Speak to you soon. Thank you. Bye.